All right, so what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about the vocabulary of structured data. We're going to talk about why it's important, and then I'm just going to show you a simple example of how to put it on your site using pods with WordPress. If you don't like pods, get out of here. I'm just kidding. If you don't like pods, you can do it with other things. We can talk about that afterwards.
What if you don't know what a pod is?
It's all right. If this conversation leaves you more confused, I'll be at the happiness bar after this, so you can come by and we can kick it and teach you more. Yes. This is getting weird. Okay. So, the vocabulary of data. Who knows what structured data is? Who knows what schema is? Who knows what markup is? Okay. I'm getting yelled at by the camera, dude. Okay, so what the heck is schema? It's a cognitive framework or concept that helps organize and interpret information. Okay? What does that mean? It's really nice to have a definition. This is an example of structured data. Okay? So, an envelope with an address on it. We all know that the address that you put in this part right here is where it's going, and we all know that the address that you put right here is where it's coming from. And we know that if there's something that looks kind of like that, it can legally go from one place to another because we've paid postage, right? So that's one type of simple schema. Here's another one, language. So a big schema book is a dictionary, right? It teaches you everything you need to know about a particular language. And even color by numbers. That's another example of schema. We'll get back to this in a second. All right, and then schema.org. We're going to talk about this too. And this is another type of schema, and it's designed just for the web. And so this is what we're going to be mainly concerned with today. But again, we'll get back to this in a second. So what the heck is markup? Ooh, does anybody know what markup is? Who said they knew what markup was? What's markup?
Well, do you mean the text formatting?
Sure. So you said, well, do you mean the text formatting?
So using markup to describe formatting.
Okay, cool. So, so a method of describing formatting. Okay. So that's a very specific type of markup. So markup in general is a document. Markup language is a modern system for annotating a document in a way that's syntactically distinguishable from the text. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I knew it. All right, so what does that mean? Who has had a paper in school that looks like this? And nobody's raising their hand. That's ridiculous. Okay. I've had many of these. It was my goal after a while to see how much red I could get on a paper. This is, so the reason why this is markup is because the red areas, right, there's this system for annotating a document and saying that, that there's something incorrect or there's something that needs to be changed about the particular document, right? And the same is true with HTML. In this case, it's a recipe, and so the tags are the markup in this case. So recipe, title, ingredient, ingredient list, ingredient, all that stuff, that's markup. All right, so why the heck is all this important? Who cares? Why should you? All right, so schema.org, which we'll be talking about, is a collaboration between all of the major search engines. Microsoft, Google, Yandex, Yahoo, all of those have collaborated to create this schema.org website and this system for annotating web content. Why should we care? Well, because these guys are huge. They run the internet, right? So we should probably listen if they're interested in something. I know, horrible answer, right? But it's true. So it makes search listings more attractive. So I'm sure you guys have seen this before, where you search for something, maybe an event, and it comes up with, so this says October 7th through October 12th, kind of hard to see, and it says Beauty and the Beast, right? That's coming up in Austin, Texas. I guess it's already happened in Austin, Texas. So that's one way that schema data is displayed. So it can help make a search listing more attractive. Now that changes every so often at the whim of any of these search engines, right? So if they see something that is decreasing click-through rate or maybe decreasing ad revenue, right, which is probably more the case, then they're probably going to change that. Or if it decreases usability. And so they can change that on a whim. And so you might say, well, gee, then why should I spend all this time integrating it into my website? We'll get to that in a second. The next thing is it makes search listings more enticing. So imagine if Lambert's Downtown Barbecue, big barbecue spot in Austin, Texas. So search for Lambert's and imagine if all of these websites came up and only one of them had a star rating and an address associated with it, right? That's probably the one that you would click on because it has more data. It's more interesting. It's more visually appealing. Now, in this case, there are multiple sites that have the same data, right, have the same information. And so in this case, the top one is actually the most interesting because you'll see it has an address, it has reviews, and actually, it's hard to see unless you're up close, but this actually doesn't show Google reviews. It doesn't have write a review. It doesn't have Google Plus page. So clearly there are some other things going on up here. Now, some of those things aren't related to structured data. Some of those things are related to the way Google intelligently connects websites to search listings. But obviously, this one is more interesting because it has more data, and you'll probably be more likely to click on that one. It's also their website. So, all right. So, what does this do for your website? Higher click-through rate. If there are, so as we just saw, if there are other listings that don't have rich data, right, that don't have this enhanced search listing, then you're going to see a higher click-through rate on your own website. It's also going to make your search listing more relevant, right? And so if you have a star rating on a review site that you've created, and somebody else has a review site that doesn't have a star rating that's showing up in the listing, then it's also going to make your listing more relevant. And then the context of the rich data displayed is going to make a difference. So, for instance, don't put a 5-star rating on a non-service-based business, right? Or a website that has to do with, I don't know, coloring books, right? It wouldn't make much sense to put, sensing a theme here, coloring books. It wouldn't make much sense to put structured data on that site for reviews, right? So sometimes the structured data or the way it's displayed in search results can actually push people away from it if it doesn't make sense. So there's a possibility you can also see a lower click-through rate from structured data, and it's not really something that you can control. You could say, hey, I don't want to put this information on my website, but a lot of the times Google will find it anyway. So if you look at this example, it's Women Who Code in Austin, okay? And they, this is their Meetup search listing, so it's for their meetup.com page, and you'll see that listed out here are events. And if I'm going to Women Who Code, I say, hey, I know that this event is at this time on a particular day, but I don't remember what the address is. So I type in Women Who Code when I'm sitting in Austin, Texas, and it comes up and it says Capital Factory. Well, why do I need to click through to that, right? Google has already displayed the relevant information to me, and so I'm not going to click through to it. So in that case, just think about it logically, you might get less traffic. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah.
Yeah, but for the client who says that, you can make the argument that people are finding what they want easier and the traffic is irrelevant if you actually go.
Yeah. So, so they are finding it easier. You could tell the client that. You could also say that somehow you're increasing your brand awareness by having your brand next to the listing. In that case, you might want to take a look at what you're putting in the description here to make sure that that kind of aligns you or aligns the business as an authority with these particular events. And you can Google this stuff. Just go into an incognito tab on your browser and check this out. So just Google whatever search term you want to see if there's structured data, and it should show up. Okay, and so lastly, without structured data, search engines have to work harder. And this is where unicorns come in. So this is a super silly exercise. And before you guys think that it's insanely ridiculous, I'll tell you it is. But it helps kind of drive the point home a little bit more. So what I've done is I have these nifty coloring sheets. And if you guys can pass those back. Now I'm going to give you 5 minutes. And when I say go, you're going to color only the unicorn on these coloring sheets. There's really a reason for this, I swear. See, I told you everybody else was going to be missing out.
Wow, crayons too.
Oh, we got crayons. There you go. All right, guys. Well, you could color the other stuff if you still have time, but you know, people like to be super abstract and color crazy places besides the unicorn, you know. So here you go. Pass some crayons down. Share if somebody has the color you want. You know, we're not in first grade. Wait, hold on, wait. When I say go, everybody's got to get the crayons. Ooh, the crayons and the coloring sheets. Anybody not have crayons? All right, here, can you pass those back there? All right, so I'm going to set a timer on the old iPhone. Ooh. Okay. Now, again, if you have time, you can totally color more than the unicorn, but the unicorn's the important part. Oh, and one other thing. There are blank spots on the bottom of your coloring sheet. Go ahead and just write the color or scribble the color next to the number that you're using. So follow the rules, okay? You have to color by number for this to work. I know. Okay, so anybody have any questions on how to color? All right, good. All right, we're going to start right now. It's time. And don't worry, I'm not judging your coloring either. Other people might. If you guys want to take the crayons afterwards to bring them back to the kids, you can. Oh boy. If you mess up, I have another coloring page. Don't mess up. Sorry, dude. We're coloring. This is part of the plan, John. Part of the plan. Gee, I don't see the guys in the back coloring. What's up with that? All right, so your coloring time is down to 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Better make it happen. What's that? Too much pressure? Okay, sorry. Tracy's keeping us honest. Wish I had unicorn music. I don't know what that would be, but magical music. That's true. It's probably copy. Yeah, yeah. But if you want to color the rest after you're done with the unicorn, if you still have time, cool. People find this a really intense experience, though. Don't stress too much. Ooh, that's a beautiful unicorn up front here. Like that. I know. Weird, huh? People that are just stumbling in, they're like, what's going on? Nice. Well done. We've got one finished. No pressure. You got two finished. All right, three. Ooh, we even got a rainbow there. That's nice. All right, sorry, Tracy, but we have 2 minutes. Sure, I can. I'll do a prize for best unicorn. Yeah. Nice. All right. Cool. Oh, people are finishing them up. That's awesome. Now, here's the deal. You got to keep the unicorn to yourself, though. Okay. So it's nice to show it to me. I like that you guys are really proud of them, but you have to you have to keep them to yourself. So much so, don't even let your neighbors see them. Okay. Super important. Okay, who got done first? Like raise your hand if you're done. All right. You. What's your name? Rita. Would you be my guest up here? Okay. Thanks. Yours is out of the running now. But it still might be the best. It's okay. Here, I'll tell you. We're going to have a little secret conversation. 10 seconds. Wow. 5 seconds. All right. Game over. Whatever you've done, you've done. Okay. So, an increasingly weird talk, I get it, but Rita here is no longer Rita, okay? Rita, her name is Google now. Okay, and so Rita's going to hang out up here, and make sure and keep your unicorn completely covered. Okay, don't let anybody see it. And so I want you to raise your hand right now if you have your unicorn done, and kind of keep it in the air. And Rita's, I'm going to point to you, and then Rita's going to tell you with her crazy ESP what color the horn and wings of your unicorn are. Okay. So, let's go with you. No, you can't say it. She's got to say it. All right. Okay, we're going to try this again. Come on, guys. Simple exercise here. All right. Over here. Is your unicorn horn purple? It's not purple. Okay. All right. All the way, we're going to do all the way in the back. Is your unicorn horn orange? You. Yeah. No, it's not orange. Okay. Let's try it one more time, Google. Okay? All right. You, sir, in the back. Is it green? Is your unicorn horn green? It's kiwi. Oh. So You got it. Okay, so that was 1 out of 3. Okay, 1 out of 3. Google got a win. Okay, Google knows what color the horn on your unicorn is. That's impressive. That's the first time I've ever seen Google get it right a third of the time. Okay, so now here's wait, you have to stay up here. We're not done yet. Okay, so now I want everybody on the back of your sheet in really big, dark crayon, I want you to write out what you wrote on the bottom. Okay, so just write maybe what color number 1 is and what color number 2 is. Okay, just big on the back of it. All right. Now, I want everybody to hold up, okay? I want you to hold up your paper and with the 1 and the 2 showing, okay? And now I'm going to ask Google the same question. All right? So I'm just going to point to different people. Come on over here. Come on over, Google. Okay. So you're out of the game. Stop. Got a 404. He said, "Oops, I did it wrong." Okay, okay. So let's go with him. What is the horn of your unicorn white? Oh my God, you got it right. High five, Google. Yes. Okay. Next one. This guy.
Gray.
Is it gray? Is that the right answer? Awesome. Okay. What about over here?
Which one?
Tracy.
She can't decide between green and yellow. I guess it's kiwi. Green.
Green and yellow?
Green and yellow.
Nice. Okay, so 100%. Google just got 100%. Okay? Now, we're not going to do any more. I know you all want to show off your artwork. If you want to show it to everybody, throw it up on Twitter and send it to WC Maui. You can put them up on the board. It's amazing. All right, so did this to illustrate this. What we did is we created a simple schema, right? We created a simple schema by putting the color next to the number, right? And when we didn't tell anybody what that schema was, 1 out of 3 times Google got it right. They understood what was on that site. Okay? Thank you, Rita, by the way. But when you actually wrote the information on the back of your page in a way that Google understood, right? She got it 3 out of 3 times. Right? Does that make sense? Does that kind of bring it home why you should have this on your website? Okay, cool. So let's, I guess we were drawing unicorns too long. Just a second. Should come back up. Yeah. It's yeah. So there are a lot of names for it, right? Structured data, metadata. All of these things are very similar, but what we're specifically going to look at is the way that Google enjoys looking at it, and hopefully it'll come back on. Yeah, so it could be written into a theme. It could also be written into a plugin. There's a plugin I saw yesterday that actually does this for you. Takes schema data and makes sure that it's formatted correctly. There we go. And where's the presentation now? Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this with pods. Now, if it's confusing, I'm sorry. And we can work on it together after this. This is, by all means, not the only way to do it. It's the way that I do it. So in all of the posts on my website, I have hikes, so I blog about that. I blog about coffee places that I go to. And I blog about events that I go to. And all of those events, coffee places and hikes, have different metadata associated with it, or structured data, schema data associated with it, so that when the search engine gets there, it knows that I'm talking about a particular place, and then people, when they search that, find my site. And it works, by the way. So my search engine results, I rank for certain hikes, right? Certain trails. There's one called Volksmark or something like that in Florida, and I rank for that, and people see it. So so this is how to do it. I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, and again, one way to do it, not the only way. If you have questions, happy to spar later. All right. So the first thing we're going to do: install and activate the Pods plugin. Yes, you can use advanced custom fields. I'm sure that's the next question. So regular install, right? Going to go to add new plugin. Going to search for it, Pods framework, get it. It's this one, Pods custom content types and fields. So I get that, I activate the plugin. Great, easy enough, right? Then I'm going to install and activate the display widgets plugin. Now this allows me to only display a particular widget on a particular page. And you'll understand why that's important in a second. So get that, install it, activate it. The next thing is installing and activating use shortcodes in sidebar widgets plugin. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can then implement my Pods data into my plugin, into my widget. And so again, download, activate. All right, so then I create a pod. Now, in this case, I'll extend an existing post type, which is pages. You can do this any number of ways. For my hikes, they're actually their own custom post type, and they have specific attributes that are only related to hiking, like miles hiked and things like that. So I'll go and I'll create fields, and apologize that it's so small, but I add things in like business name, business address, city, state, zip, phone, email, and website. Right? These are things that every business should have on a contact page. After I do that, I add a contact page. and so blank page, magically a contact. Favorite contact form goes there in the content area. And then we have fields underneath the content area because it's an extended post type. And we can put in business name, address, city, state, zip, phone, email, and website. Right? Pretty cool, because now we can put all this relevant data onto the contact page. Okay, so save that, update it, whatever. And then we need to find schema.org data to fit. So you head on over to schema.org. There are tons of different types of schema.org data. So I'll show you that really quick. All right. So you click on schemas, and again, this is created by Google and the other search engines, and you can see there are these different entities, right? And make it a little bit bigger. So we have events, health and medical types, organization, person, place, local business, restaurant. So this is going to be a place, right? Because I'm putting in an address. So I'll click place, and it shows me all of the specifics about this particular piece of structured data. But what I'm going to do is go all the way to the bottom, and at the bottom you'll see microdata. It actually shows you how to implement this in HTML. Okay, and so it's totally logical. Right, there's a name, a description, an address, a street address, a locality. That's a little weird, but it's a city or a region, and then a state. Right, so address, region, Florida, and then telephone. And so that's as difficult as it is. All of this data that you're putting in here is going to be invisible to your user and to anybody visiting the site. So we'll collect that. You can even copy and paste it, right, and then change out the information. So we could copy and paste this, remove the name, and put the name of the business. In this case, because we've enabled pods, and I'll show you on my nifty WordPress site called Schema.ninja. I have a widget, and what I've done is, so same type of thing, right? Professional service. I have the street address right here, the address locality, address region, all of that stuff. But in this case, I'm using the pods query. And again, you have to know how to use pods. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to hit me up. But this basically says, okay, take the business name from the page that this is being displayed on, right? The business name that we entered underneath the content, and display that right here in the item prop name. And then do the same with the street address. And then do the same with the locality, right? Here's city, right? Pod city, pod state, pod zip. All right. By the way, if you have multiple locations, this is really great for that too, because you can do this on multiple contact forms. You can put different data into each contact form, and then you can display them all on one page if you wanted to. Okay, and so what ends up happening is, this is my, oh, I see what's going on. This is too big for the screen. There we go. All right, so this is the site. And then if I go to contact, apparently it's scrolling, being a little responsive. But you can see at the bottom, it's the address, right? And it's the same address that if I were to go then into that particular page and look at the bottom of my contact form, you'll see an awesome business name, 123 Business Lane, New York, New York, right? And so it's displaying that information from the custom fields on the contact form, or on the contact page. And there it is right below. So who got that? Raise your hand. Who got the idea of that? Raise your hand. Who is totally lost and then don't think they can implement it on their site? Okay. Well, come see me afterwards. We'll make it happen. All right. So again, combine schema.org data with pods magic tags. Always want to check your work. A couple quick things. Make sure everything checks out. Use Google's markup validator. So if you don't have Google Webmaster Tools, your site verified in Google Webmaster Tools, make that happen. It's a shame not to. And so this is what it looks like. You put in the particular page, and it tells you whether or not your site has the correct data in it. And it will even tell you what's missing, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so that's how you do it. That's how you get stuff that looks like this on your website. And if you don't do it, Google doesn't know what it's looking at. So do it. All right, what questions do you all have? Yes? So the question is, when do I use this? Do I use it when it's my website? Do I use it when it's a website that I'm working on for a client, maybe a directory, maybe a guide or something like that? The answer is use it all the time. Look through schema.org for the entities that make sense for your particular website. So the whole idea of this is to give Google as much information as possible, because in many cases, Google, Yahoo, Bing, those search engines, they make or break a business, right? If you're not listed there, if you're not getting traffic from those sites, if you're not getting referral traffic from other people's sites, there's no other place that you're getting your leads from. So don't disadvantage yourself from the get-go by not having this data in your pages, and instead make sure that it's there for everything. So if it's location-based, definitely. Right? Always have schema data on location-based pages. If it is review based, right? Make sure and have structured data on your website so that the reviews are then shown on Google. Yeah, even photography. What's that? Products. Yeah. So I used to run a couple multi-million-dollar e-commerce sites for a big institutional music company, and we found that when surprise, surprise, star ratings and reviews were added to listings, we got much higher click-through rate and obviously higher sell-through. Yes. Yep. You can do reviews, and you can do star ratings with Schema as well. And so you display that on your site, and then you also work through the schema.org data, make sure that's embedded on your site, and then you'll be able to show those in Google search results. Now, like I said, Google on a whim can say, hey, I'm not going to do that anymore, right? But then next week, they'll probably have something else that they want to take from your site, some other information that they want to display in an interesting way. And so you're already going to have the data there for them to do that with. Yes? Yeah. Yep. Right. Good question. So the question is, why use pods? You're creating a static contact page. So on my particular example, you're right. You could just make a static widget, static text widget, put the schema.org data there, and then put the name of the business. Now, if you have multiple contact pages, multiple locations, multiple photo locations, maybe you're taking pictures of monuments. In that case, then it would make sense. Pods would become much better for you, because you could systematically, it gives you direct access kind of to the WordPress database, and so you're able to then pull in data in a standard way, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. Pods allows you to create templating, so data templating, and so you can actually create specific layouts for specific data. So. Right, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, so the widget plugin that I said to download, that allows you to specify where the widget shows up. So you could say only display on these 3 posts. It pulls it, where they are named the same. So the question was, if pods, if there's pods data, how does the website know where to pull the pods data from? And the answer is, it pulls the pods data from whatever post you're currently viewing. Okay, so on those 3 contact pages that you described, yes, they're named. Technically, they're named the same things. The fields are named the same things on each page, but it'll pull in information from whichever page you're actually on. Yeah. All right, we'll go on the right here. I like the pods, guys. I just dig them. I like their logo. I think that's cool. I don't know. No other reason than that. So I dig their templating. I think it's easy to use, and it was the first thing that I checked out as far as custom post type systems go, right? And so I just chose it. But you could easily do it with advanced custom fields too. Good question. Care to elaborate? I don't know everything. What do you mean, the larger semantic web? Yeah, so somebody asked me that in Toronto, and the best answer I had was I don't know, and the best answer I have today is I don't know, and that means I really did a poor job after working at Toronto. Um, but I'll go research it. What do you think? Yeah. Right. Sounds like it's still an open question. So before he kicks me off, there's a plugin, and I'll tweet it out. Somebody sent it to me via Facebook. There's a plugin that actually standardizes data. So standardizes it to the correct schema.org data. I don't know what the plugin is. I haven't played around with it, but I'll tweet it out for the fun of it, so that you guys can check it out and use it, play with it. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks a lot, guys.